I don't know if you're paying attention to what's going on in Congress, but if you are, you can see that people just aren't communicating much or together that well. And here's a story from the Talmud about why it is important that we communicate and work well together, and why it is important that we are a little bit flexible in some of our stances on very specific issues. And it goes something like this. So Rabbi Eliezer, who was a very intelligent, very knowledgeable rabbi, was arguing with the rest of the rabbinical court, right, a similar time period to the destruction of the Second Temple, about a very technical issue. And as they're going back and forth, he is getting more and more and more frustrated. And he finally gets to the point where he's so frustrated, he said, listen, if the law is according to me, let this tree move over there, and it does. And if the law is according to me, let the river flow backwards, and it does. And if the law is according to me, let the walls of the Sanhedrin fall inward, and they do. But they also stop on account of the other rabbis in the Sanhedrin. And finally, all of the other rabbis sit there and they want all of this to stop. And finally, the voice of God, the Bat Kol, comes down and says to all of them, the law is according to Eliezer. And the rabbis collectively look up and say, that's fine and all good and dandy, except you gave us the laws at Mount Sinai. It's in our hands to determine how to best work together and make everything functional for who we are as a community. Finally, we see the last scene of the story is God is sitting up in heaven laughing and saying, my children got the best of me. My children got the best of me. And what does the story ultimately teach us? It teaches us that if we are so unwilling to bend, that even the walls of our most sacred institution, in the case in the Talmud, it was the Sanhedrin, in our case, it's Congress, and in many other institutions, could fall inward and crumble. And ultimately, what we need to do is learn how to work together, how to listen to each other, how to compromise, and how to be present for and with one another. So as we go about all of these wonderful debates, which are important and imperative for us to have as a community, may we also learn and remember the importance of listening to one another, being present for each other, and ultimately work toward the community's best.